Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I built my mobile workbench. If you like what you see, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. If you want to see how I designed this workbench, please check the link in the description. The first thing I did was cut down some 2x4s to make the frame for the bottom of the workbench. This is going to be used for storage as well as a dust collection system in the future. Once all the pieces were cut out, I started by screwing together the sides of the frame, and then marked off where the supports were going to go on the inside. Once they were all marked off, they were screwed into place. After the frame was completely put together, I placed a sheet of 1/2-inch MDF on top and cut it to fit. Now it's time to build the legs of the workbench. To make the legs, I cut the 2x4s to the height I wanted the table to be and clamped them together so I can attach them with screws. 3 of the corner legs are the same size, and 1 is shorter, which is going to be used to support the table saw. These are all going to be attached to the bottom of the workbench using a speed square to ensure the legs are perpendicular to the base. This is the perfect time to add the wheels. I marked off where I wanted the wheels to go and pre-drilled the holes. Now that the wheels are attached and the bottom of the workbench is done, I can start building the rest of the table. I cut up some 2x4s to make a frame for the table saw and created legs for it similar to how I made the other legs. I used a circular saw to cut the top piece for the table saw. I used 1/2 inch MDF for the bottom, but I'm using 3/4 inch MDF for the top. I forgot to change the depth of the circular saw, so I needed to make another pass before cleaning up the corner with a coping saw. I then fastened the top to the table saw frame with screws. Once this was in place, I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I attached the first frame piece for the top, but decided that it would be better to work on the miter saw station next. I followed the same procedure for this as I did for the table saw. I cut down some 2x4s and built a small frame. The legs were a little tricky because I needed to notch out the bottoms to fit on the frame correctly, and I needed them to support both the miter saw station and the top workbench. I used a speed square to make sure the legs were perpendicular to the base and began working on the top frame. Here you can see me screwing in a scrap piece of wood to help support the edge of the bench and the miter saw station. This was only to help hold it temporarily, as I was putting a 2x4 across the length of the table. Now that the frame for the top was complete, I put the remaining 3/4 inch MDF on top of the bench to see how it fit, and marked off where I needed to cut for the miter saw. I flipped it over and finished drawing my cut lines. I wanted to make sure that the cut was going to be as accurate as possible, so I flipped it back over, and I'm glad I did because it was a little off. I adjusted my lines and cut out the piece. I used a jigsaw to cut out the back of the miter saw station. I used a bigger drill bit than the head of the screws to create a countersink and screwed the top of the table in. I have a few adjustments to make sure the table saw and the miter saw are flush with the top of the table, and I want to add a dust collection system and a storage system for smaller tools. Let me know what you think about the build by leaving comments below. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and please subscribe for future videos. Thanks again!